Hey Rovers, good news. They tell me the Mast goes in today and tomorrow Wave Rover will be launched. The Wave Rover 650. A design based on my solo ocean crossings. Well, we had an unexpected rain last night, actually high winds and rain, but it only lasted for about 10 minutes, but very intense. So the mast will have to wrap it in some sort of towel to protect the paint, because the paint is only 3 or 4 days old, and it usually takes oil paint a week or so to truly harden. And secondly, we've moved the stands, so you can see these stands here. They're sort of in a painted spot, but the area they were in is unpainted, so I'll clean and get some paint on that today. And the keels are faired. Andy's done a great job. So now we can just remove these 6x6s. They're not doing anything right now, and I can paint this area and get the boat ready. I'd like to get the boat painted this evening. It's the 30th of April right now. I'd like to get the boat painted this evening, and then the paint can dry overnight and the morning, and then on the 1st of May she should be launched. Well, Rovers, big news. Yesterday, May 2nd, the mast went in. Would have liked to film it for you, but the owner of the yard was a little shy about having the whole evolution filmed. It was sort of an unorthodox way of doing it, but successful nonetheless. I will show you now the mast. And today I'll be getting up there, and I want to make the mast base waterproof. So right now I just have it wedged in, but it's nice and solid, and then I'll have to spend a few hours sorting out the lines, making them run the right way. I can see the boom is twisted right now, so I'll have to figure that out. So today, May 2nd, Wave Rover should be launched. That's what they tell me. So then this is a Thursday, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I'll spend getting Wave Rover ready in all respects for sea, and I should be, barring any unforeseen circumstances, I should be underway Monday. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to, doing a quick little workup, getting both the skipper and the boat back up to scratch, and then we'll be heading down the coast here, gunk-holing our way down to the Norfolk area inside Chesapeake Bay. Looking forward to that as well, because that's become sort of a new thing for me, this whole coastal sailing / gunk-holing. It turns out it's a heck of a lot of fun, and I get to meet so many interesting people along the way. And if you're one of those folks who wants to meet up with Wave Rover, just reach out. All right, I've got a lot to do. Time to crack on. So today we'll be trimming off these cedar shims, getting them down to a lower height, and then making this whole mast boot waterproof. Hey Rovers, it's another hot one today. 30 to 32 degrees out in the sunshine. That's I think the 4th day in a row. Great for getting work done, but by noon it's pretty hot. It's pretty hard to keep up the pace. Well, that's the canvas boot on, and the canvas, as you can probably tell, isn't going to be waterproof. But that's not the reason. The canvas boot is on there just to give us UV protection on what is the tape underneath and the inner tube from a bicycle. That's the key to getting this waterproof, is the inner tube from the bicycle. It's wrapped, it's tight, it bites on itself once you tighten it up, and then I had no problem over the last 1,500 miles with this system, and like I said, I would have happily have left it on and in place if I had a choice, but I had to remove the mast to do a little repair. and then of course to get some new paint on the mast. And the mast is looking great. It's looking nice and shiny. And as I've said a few times, the next step is to get the sail pack on and get underway. I'm here at Costco and we just picked up some supplies. Tom and Barb have graciously driven me all the way here. Quite an experience. So I picked up a cooler so I can take some fresh meat with me. That'll be good for 3 days, but mostly this is going to be used on the gunk holing down before I actually head out to sea. Picked up a bunch of salmon, some magnesium, and I can go into that later. And a ton of paper towel. This isn't the first shopping spree. And eggs, of course. But it's not the first shopping spree I've been on. This is just an adjunct to the current one. Anyway, time to get it into the car before everything melts. So I'm at Costco, but this is Amish country, and because of that, look at this parking space. I've got a horse behind me and a wagon. And it's not uncommon to see that here. When we first arrived, there were 2 other wagons here. And like I said, this is Costco, just a regular Costco. All right, I'm going to just back away. We don't want to upset the animal.
The store through there if you want. Yeah, the wood shop. The store looks much more robust, if that's the right word. So you must be doing something right, Steve. I don't know what it is.
Got the cool work in here.
Look at all this. This is all reclaimed lumber and timbers from barns and other structures. They've been cleaned. The nails have been drawn out of them. They're totally usable and organized, and this is one of many warehouses they have of this. Just an amazing operation. I love it, and so neat. Just got splashed. We're in the water. We've got no leaks. And we're just making our way now to a dock. See if I can find one. Didn't get to film it. It was a bit of a tricky maneuver. There's another boat in the well. I had to get around them. It was again all hands on deck to do the maneuver. But all's well. We didn't even touch, despite this little breeze that's blowing us right into the well and that boat. Yeah, quite a thing. Well, this is actually really pleasant. You know, it's 30, 31 degrees, quite sunny, but a really nice day to go back in the water. Hopefully that's a good omen for for weather to come for this upcoming voyage across the Atlantic. All right, now I just have to find a slip that's open and tie it up and finish the rest of the rigging. As you can see, the sail pack isn't on. Well, there she is. She's secure and alongside. She's trimmed off pretty nicely, actually, although we could come down probably another inch by the bow, and when I get all the water stored on board, that'll probably happen. One of the changes I made was I moved the mast step back an inch, and you can see already, let me see if I can get a better angle here. You can see already that the mast it's plumb. If anything, it's leaned forward about a degree, and when the bow comes down a bit, it'll be leaned forward probably another degree or so, which is what we wanted. I felt as though the mast had an aft rake, so that was part of the reason I moved the step. Apart from that, time to crack on with the rest of the preparations. It's now Thursday. I plan to be underway by Monday. So it's a nice day. We've got probably 15 knots of wind. Wave Rover has been in the water now probably 12 hours. Andy's back on the scene, and Andy has a vested interest in the Wave Rover project as he was the designer of the hull. Now with the extra weight on the keels, which again was Andy's baby, he did a fine job. As you saw in the earlier, you know, those keels looked perfect, and when the paint went on, you couldn't tell where the steel stopped and the lead started. So Andy, let's see what the difference is now after putting the lead on.
Great, thank you, Alan. Yes, we're checking to see the roll period of the boat, to see how quickly it actually levels itself out after initial heel is put onto it. That gives you an indication of what type of stability a boat has. If a boat levels out very quickly, it's got a high level of stability. If it keeps rolling back and forth, it's got a very low level of stability. So a simple test is what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stand on the side, shows you the initial heel of the boat. We're going to let that level out so that we get equilibrium, which is getting close. Give it a second. There we go. And I'm going to stand off, and you guys can do it yourself. Take your timer, your stopwatch. When I step on the dock and off the boat, time how fast it goes from this angle of heel to no angle of heel.
Wow. Wow.
It doesn't roll back and forth.
Pretty amazing.
It goes pretty much to equilibrium immediately, which means that when the sail's up, you got pressure in it, you're heeling over, you've got a lot of riding moment to keep you stable.
Yes. Little bit of lead in the right place has made a huge difference.
Correct.
And, you know, just to give a little comparison, folks, to my Contessa 26, I can tell you this is a lot stiffer now than my Contessa 26 was. And here's an interesting fact. I haven't put the water on Wave Rover yet, which is a fair amount of weight, which is going to even stiffen it up that much more. So, yeah, thanks, Andy, and time to crack on.
Yes, sir.
So these are all full. So I have a strap, if you can see it, going this way, secured to two very stout U-bolts going right through the bulkhead. And then, of course, that'll prevent them from flying this way or this way laterally. But to keep them from coming up, should we get knocked down or have a capsize, I have to have a second strap. And this is the way I do all the water containers. They all have a strap to keep them from coming up. If they're in a tight container or a tight space like under the bunks, you don't need this strap right here, but you do need this top one. So just get it spread out through the handles. And you know, if I didn't have water containers like this, I'd have to just work out some other system. But just cinch it down and then tie it off. Okay, it's all tied off, it's secure. Now, when you go to use water, don't take and deplete this whole line and then go to another area. Best to keep the boat in trim. So after you finish one of these, replace it with an empty one, but the next container, go aft of the keels and then go under the sink and just, you know, use your common sense to deplete your water in a way that sort of evenly distributes that weight. How much weight? Well, I have, each of these is 10 liters, and I have 12 of these containers. That's 120 liters. A liter is 2.2 pounds, so just off the top of my head, and correct me if I'm wrong, that should work out to about 264 pounds of water.
I'm gonna get my tools out of the truck, or out of the boat.
Well, as always, Rovers, thanks for watching and forge your own adventure.